Hello, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Hornby Henry. So we'll start off by looking at the box. Up there you've got the Thomas & Friends logo. On the other side there's the Hornby and Hit Entertainment logo. And along the bottom there is loads of different Thomas characters. If I flip it round to the back, you can see there are some different characters that were available at the time. You've got Thomas, Percy, Duck, Toby, Bill, Ben, James and Gordon. And over here you've got some different rolling stock. I actually am missing quite a few of these. I don't have the Gordon's coaches, and I also don't have the Hornby Circus vans or tankers. So I would like to get those soon actually. But yeah, I'll stop talking and we will get him out of the box. And here he is, so I'll just gently push him out. And here is the tender. And I did have to remove the vacuum pipe off the tender because for some reason Hornby designed the packaging so that you can't fit the tender in with the brake pipe fitted for some reason. But yeah, here he is, and this is a really, really nice model. Before I get into the details, I suppose I should tell you how much I paid for him, which I paid a lot more than I probably would have liked to for a Henry. I paid £200 for this model, which is a lot, and I probably wouldn't recommend paying that much. I would say maybe if you can get him for less than 200, that's pretty good. But yeah, it is a lot of money to be paying for a model, especially one like this. But yeah, anyway, let's start off by looking at the face. And the face is probably one of the best things about the model. It is spot on to the show. There is not a single flaw with the face. It looks so accurate. I don't know how Hornby got the face to look so good, but it just looks spot on to how it looks in the show. But yeah, it looks really good. It's also painted really nicely as well. Unfortunately, there is a very slight chip in the eyebrow, although other than that, this model is in pretty much mint condition. But yeah, I just love the face. It looks so accurate. And if we have a look at the running board, for some reason, Hornby did not include lamp irons with this model, because normally with the tender engines, they included lamp irons, which when they are factory fitted by Hornby, they are always upside down for some reason. So maybe it's actually a good thing that they didn't include lamp irons, because if they did, they would probably be upside down. But yeah, if we look at the buffer beam, you can see there is a lot of riveting detail, and he does come with a vacuum pipe. There is a molded dummy coupling hook, although it's not painted unfortunately. And he also does have separately fitted buffers, although unfortunately they're not made of metal or anything. But yeah, on the running board there are actually like sort of, I guess, steps here, which is interesting. And there's also riveting detail as well, which is nice. And on the smoke box there is also some riveting detail, and there's also some pipe work. And then you've got his funnel as well, which is hollow, unlike Toby's. And then there's also the cylinders. And if we take a look at the valve gear, you can see it's pretty chunky. It's not as chunky as, say, the Bachmann one. But yeah, it's not like super fine and fragile, because obviously this is a railroad tooling, and it is obviously a Thomas & Friends model, so they couldn't make it too fine and realistic, but I still think it does the job. And I think the only thing I dislike about this model is the piston rod here is made of plastic for some reason. And that's just really weird to me. The rest of the linkage is metal, so I just don't know why this piston rod is plastic. It just looks really weird. And Hornby didn't even paint it in a metallic colour. It is literally just grey, and it really does not look good. But yeah, other than that, the model is very good. If we take a look at the boiler, you can see he does have separately fitted handrails, which is nice. Although they are painted black and not silver. I believe on the sort of first release of Henry, he had silver handrails, although they changed it later on. And then he also has the boiler bands, which are very well painted actually. But yeah, the paintwork overall is very good. It looks very crisp, and the shade of green is actually really good. A common complaint with the Hornby Thomas models is that most of them are painted too dark, but Henry's shade of green is actually pretty spot on. It does appear a little bit lighter on camera, but in real life it is a little bit darker. And the later 2015 version of Henry is a much lighter shade of green, although I think it is much too light. I do prefer the dark shade. It looks more accurate in my opinion. And if you want to know what shade of green the later Henry is in, it's sort of like the shade of green of the Hornby Percy here. But yeah, anyway, so if we have a look at the cab, you can see he has two windows which do have the yellow lining around them. For some reason in the show he has one big window, although this is more accurate to the Railway series and the Black 5 in real life. And then also here we've got the firebox, and on top of the firebox there are separately fitted metal safety valves, which is really good. But yeah, if we take a look inside of the cab, you can see there is a little bit of detail. It is all molded, and unfortunately none of it is painted, although it isn't too bad, and it's nice that they did include detail anyway. On the sides of the cab there's lots of riveting, which does look quite nice. And also if you look, all of the lining around the cab is square, but if you look down here it's actually rounded off, which I suppose they did that because the running board curves down, but yeah, that's quite interesting. But yeah, let's quickly take a look at the tender then. And the first thing you might notice is that the coal is quite chunky and a little bit unrealistic, because coal is obviously chunky in real life, but this is massive. But yeah, the coal load is not very good and does show the age of the tooling a bit. And also obviously it has to be quite high because the motor is in the tender. But yeah, you've got the number 3, which for some reason the red lining around the number 3 is sort of inside the yellow. It's not actually outlining it. So yeah, that does look quite weird. I'm not sure why they did that. On the later 2015 version they did fix that, but yeah, that does look kind of weird. And on the back there's the water filler cap, but yeah, and also the underframe is painted green, and I hear a lot of people say that they don't like this, that it should be painted black, but I personally don't mind the underframe being painted green, because if it was painted black, I think it would just be too much black. Although I think what they should have done is picked out the axle boxes in black and then kept the rest of the underframe green, because I think if you had the axle boxes picked out in black it would look really nice. But yeah, if we look on the back of the tender, there's actually a lot of molded detail. But yeah, you can see he does have the large D-shaped couplings, obviously because this is an older model. I think that might actually be it for Henry. He does have separately fitted handrails on the tender though, which is nice. I'm pretty sure that's all I have to say about this. It is a very, very nice model. And yeah, I think it's obviously not super detailed because it's a Thomas & Friends model, and it's also based on the railroad tooling. But I think the detail that it does have is very good. And although a lot of it's molded, I think it works, him not being super detailed, because of course the props in the show weren't super detailed or anything. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. So I will put him on the layout and we will see how he runs. So there Henry is on the layout, and I'll start off by doing a bit of a slow speed test. And I have already run him in a little while ago, so this is his best performance. And you can see there he does actually do a really good crawl. Yeah, so he is a very smooth runner. But yeah, so he does do a very good crawl. So let's now see how he does over the points. And he's derailed. I've had to film this part multiple times now because he keeps derailing. But maybe it's just because I didn't put him on the track properly. Let's try that again. Alright. And he derailed again. Thank you very much, Henry. Alright, so this is definitely the first time I'm filming this. Let's see how he does over the point. And first try, he was absolutely perfect. Wow, good job, Henry. But yeah, let's couple him up to some trucks and give him a run.